What's good, Plum Borough? I'm Drew Bartow.
I'm Mike Devine.
And together we are Sour Plums. We aim to entertain and educate more than 3 Plum residents by debating some of the trending topics in the borough, from school board and council happenings to business openings, conspiracy theories, and everything in between. Welcome to the Sour Plums podcast, plumbers. Mike, the last week we had some, of course, every week we have some controversy in our topics. And I got to say, everybody either loves or hates Seinfeld. I think that was a big one that came out of last week's episode. You either love it and it's like one of your top shows ever, or you're like, how can you even watch that show? I think that was the feedback we got.
Yeah, it's a pretty dry humor, so there's not a whole lot of in between.
No,
I'm on the side of loving it. I think it's a great show. Justin Newman, as normal, is wrong.
He's very wrong.
He's very wrong.
He's very wrong. No, but yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite shows. And now, Mike, have you watched Curb Your Enthusiasm? Larry David, who?
So I've seen it, but
okay.
I never really watched it. I never really got into Curb, and I think it was on HBO when it was first out. And when it was out, I never had HBO, so I just never really got into it. But I'm sure if I sat down and watched it, I would like it. I just never.
Sounds like a watch party we need to have over a few weekends. All right, sounds good.
If I have anything, it's free time, so I'm in.
So the other thing that was really, I get killed every week for something, usually multiple things. And I was apparently very wrong about respectfully helping a dead man down five flights of stairs. So yeah, I got a lot of feedback from people, Mike, who said it was a really bad idea. Can you give us a little background on why people said that was a bad idea for me to help them respectfully down?
Yeah, well, I think you got a text from my wife.
I did, yeah. She texts me all the time, Mike, but this was the first time you knew about it, yeah.
Right. So, so this is the first one, I think, from a medical standpoint, we can say why you were wrong.
Yeah, I was wrong.
So here,
why was I wrong?
This.
Yeah, tell
me. I'll read this. Here's a bit of nursing knowledge, which may change your mind on the slide, Drew. Before I went to anesthesia school, I worked in the ICU at Presby. I had to put many people in body bags and send them to the morgue. Fun fact for you. After people die, they usually have a massive, all caps, massive shit. I hope you're carrying that fat guy down the slide. You aren't at the end where his ass is, especially in swim trunks, which won't hold the shit. Smiley face. So, So again, I was right.
I'm gonna rewind and change my answer to pushing him gracefully down the slide. How about that?
It doesn't have to be graceful. Just push him and beat him down there.
Yeah. Well, no, it was another good episode, another fun episode. Got a lot of fun feedback. I love the participation from our fans on the episode, especially as we know, blind ranking seems to be the most popular thing we do, and we're gonna have another good one today, I'm sure. But Mike, let's find out what you're drinking tonight.
Tonight's a light night. I am exhausted, so I actually have Mountain Dew tonight. So it's nothing fun, but it is a new one that I've never had before. Major Melon Mountain Dew. It's pretty delicious.
You're big. So Mountain Dew, you explore the different flavors.
Baja Blast is my favorite Mountain Dew. I mean,
okay,
I think
Taco Bell special. Yeah.
Classic Mountain Dew is the best.
Yeah.
So everything else is competing for second place. Baja Blast is in second place. Big Code Red fan, but this is pretty delicious. It's a summer Mountain Dew.
Oh, very good. We're approaching summer. I vow to never have a light night when we're recording this show, and I'm on my second double IPA. This one happens to be a perfect sponsor if Hop Farm is listening for Grammar Hammer. It's called Adjective and Noun. So Hop Farm, if you're anybody from Hop Farm's listening, you can sponsor the Grammar Hammer for a low fee of whatever you want. so I'm having that's a double hazy IPA from Hop Farm. So, all right, Mike, let's first of all, I want to say thank you to our sponsors again. And we have 3 of them at the moment. Tresco Concrete, Continental Comb, and the Jen Mascaro Real Estate Team. Continental Comb Barbershop, a traditional barbershop servicing the area since 1973. Up to date on all the new styles and cuts. Call 412-795-7555 and mention Sour Plums for $5 off any service.
Tresco Concrete, the best concrete products on the market. Ready-mix concrete delivered to your door, guaranteed to get hard or your money back. And as always, their concrete is all natural, no supplements, and always 100% Viagra-free.
The Jen Mascaro team proudly supports the Sour Plums podcast. When it comes to selling your home promptly and at peak value, look no further than the expertise of the Jen Mascaro team. With over a decade of industry experience, we guarantee to guide you seamlessly through the process. For personalized assistance, contact us at 412-607-6318 or email jen.mascaro@cbrealty.com.
All right, welcome back. We're going to jump right into Plum Problems. So we have a few things to talk about this week. First one's pretty controversial.
Not in Plum.
Not in Plum. So I'm going to preface this by saying when I was on the school board, I owned everything I did. I owned everything I said. If I was wrong, I admitted it.
Mm-hmm.
I never missed a vote, ever. If I was on vacation, I called in. I've called in from St. Lucia. I've called in from Jamaica. I've called in from Outer Banks. Hilton Head, I've called in from Ocean City. Never missed a vote. My obligation when I was elected was to be there and make the tough decisions. They weren't always popular, but I made the decisions and I put my vote out there.
Yeah.
We had a school board member this past weekend. I'm not going to drop any names. You can look in the article if you want. The Trib did an article on it.
I saw it this morning.
School board member. They had to pass the budget into next month. I don't know if you know. You can't just vote on a budget. It has to be available for 30 days for the public to review. Okay. So you vote to pass it to the following month, and then at that month or the next month, once everybody has a chance to review it, you vote on it. He's not in favor of the tax increase, which is fine. That's everybody's obligation to have your opinion on it. After the recognitions, the student recognitions, he got up and walked out.
Before the vote.
He didn't vote on that. There was an assistant principal at the middle school that was voted on, and a couple other hires I think I saw on the agenda as well. And I said it when I was on the board, whenever we had the vote last year for the tax increase. And if you know that a tax increase is the right thing to do, and you don't want to do it so it's not on your record, and you vote against it knowing everybody knows how everybody else is going to vote. Before you get there, they know how you're going to vote. And you vote no, knowing it's going to pass because you need to have it done, you're a coward. And I stand by that today. That is the cowardly thing to do. Put your no vote in, say why you're voting no, but you're there to vote for these things. Yeah. The discussion meeting, I can make an argument. You can miss one here and there. It's a discussion meeting. You can get yourself caught up. You're there to vote. You're there to be the voice of the people of Plum. You were elected by the people of Plum by a majority vote. Do your job, show up and vote.
Yeah. And Mike, I think, I read the article. I saw on the Trib Live article, and then I saw a few, posts on some Plum community pages, which is generally something that happens. And immediately what I hate to see is like the band of apologists that come out in defense of what's wrong. Like you can like somebody, you can continue to support somebody, but say, hey, he or she was wrong to do this. And that school board member was wrong to do this. And so I'd like to see the Plum community come out and say, hey, look, we voted for you. You represent us. Keep your ass in the meeting and vote. Do your job. Do what we voted you in for. And that's, to me, that's the difference between somebody who is an apologist or somebody who has some principles. Like, look, stop defending somebody who does the wrong thing. Just say, hey, you were wrong. Do better next time, and continue to support them if you support them. So that's what I like to see from the community.
Yeah, the justification of, well, this board member did this 2 years ago. That wasn't right then either. He or she doing that 2 years ago doesn't make it right for somebody else to do it again today. I got a lot of, because I put a post out there. At the time I put the post out, I didn't know who it was. I just heard somebody did. So I was trying to find out who it was, whatever. But then everything comes out with, oh, you just don't like this board member. No, I've never hid the fact I can't stand that board member. He has no place on the board. He was elected under false character, I'll say. The way he presents himself in the borough is not who he was behind closed doors. I own what I voted for. I own what I did, and I never missed a vote. And I was not somebody who was going to back away from the hard issues just because I didn't want something on my record. It's the coward thing to do. It just pisses me off.
No, I agree. And Mike, I'll get fired up. I was already fired up about this topic today, so I'll bite my tongue a little bit, which is hard for me to do, but I will bite my tongue, and then maybe we should move on to the next topic.
Yeah. So the next one, this is just one other thing. Caitlin Clark, number one pick in the WNBA draft, and it came out right before, I think it was during the national championship. Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird were saying that Caitlin Clark cannot be considered a great one without a championship. And I wholeheartedly disagree with this. Women's sports have come a long way in the last 20, 25 years, and more recently, especially in the last 5 years. When Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird are saying that you have to have a championship, they played at a time where if you were talented, you went to Tennessee or you went to UConn. You had to beat one team.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark has had to beat some really good teams. She doesn't have a national championship, but to say she's not one of the great, she's probably the greatest one to ever play on the women's side of the ball. And, now you're hearing about her salary. She's making $76,000. I will say this right now, you deserve what you put into it. And the WNBA is not a league that makes money right now. They're just not. Can that change in the next 2, 3, 4 years when this rookie contract ends? It probably can. She can be the one to do it. And if she does, she needs to see the dollar signs follow what she's bringing in the rankings. But to say she's not a great one, that's a bunch of crap.
Now, I think she did just sign she's on the brink of signing a sponsorship deal. It's probably 8 figures, so I think she'll be okay. But it's funny. We got a comment on our Facebook page this week about bringing on more maybe women's sports coaches and people who are involved in women's sports on our show. What's funny though, I think 3 or 4 episodes now out of 5, we've talked about women's sports. We talked about women's basketball in particular, and I think that says a lot for where the sport is right now. Right? I mean, for us to be talking about women's basketball every episode is amazing. And I'll play devil's advocate because it's not entertaining to agree with you all the time. And probably not.
You don't like to be right all the time?
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. No, but I will say this. If Michael Jordan hadn't won the championships he won, what would we be saying about him? Would he be considered the greatest of all time? I mean, do you really?
No.
No, he wouldn't be. Right?
No.
And basketball,
it's Dan Marino, right?
Right. And basketball is not an individual sport, I'll say that. But if you compare it to, say, football, baseball, some other sports like that, a starter is still 20% of the team, right? That's on the court. Yeah. And it's a significant portion of the team. Unfairly or not, NBA players are judged on championships a lot. Quarterbacks are judged on championships a lot. And elite centers in hockey are judged on championships a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think they have a point. I don't want to go the whole way and say she's not great because that would be just me being disingenuous. But I think to be an all-time great, I think we'll have to see what she does in the WNBA as far as winning championships, because that's where the opportunity will come for her to win championships and have a better supporting cast.
Yeah, but I think when you talk about college sports, it's different because college, you have 4 years of playing time, right? And maybe you only play for 2 or 3 of those years. You have a very small window to win a championship in college. So to be a great one in college, I don't think you need that championship. Professionals, it makes a difference.
And that's fair. And to your point, though, the UConns, when Taurasi was playing and those girls were playing, those teams were stacked. Mm-hmm. I mean, they might have had 5 of the top 10 players in the country on their roster. That's a lot different than playing in Iowa as the star. So I'll give you that one, Mike. I had to play devil's advocate a little bit, just so you know that there's another viewpoint. But she's amazing. We're talking about women's basketball every damn week on this show.
Exactly.
And that is something we would not have been doing 5-10 years ago.
No. Monday night, I raced home. My girls jumped in front of the TV. We watched the WNBA draft. I don't know if it's ever been televised before, but we watched the draft, and they knew the first 10 picks by name before they were said. That's got to be
special for your girls, right? That's got to be special for them.
It's changing. Yeah. So, all right, Drew, what's good in the hood?
All right. Today, Mike, I am super excited to have on the show Keith Nonnenberg. He is a physical education teacher at Plum's Pivik Elementary, and he's here to talk about the impact of the more than $2 million donated by Plum alum and former NFL punter Pat McAfee. Keith, thank you for joining Sour Plums.
Drew and Michael, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. And
hey, you forgot one thing. You forgot what his biggest accomplishment.
What's that? Nonnenball?
He coached one of the finest athletes Plum has ever seen.
Who's that, Mike?
That would be me.
I figured that was the answer.
That might have been the dark years of Plum volleyball.
All right. Well, before we dive into sort of how the McAfee funds have been used, Keith, can you share a brief background on your personal and professional involvement in the Plum community?
I was born and raised in Plum, graduated in 1989, went to IUP for a few years, came back, started teaching at Plum again in, what did I say? Graduated in 89, came back, started teaching in 95.
Okay.
This is my 30th year. I've been a coach of the high school volleyball team, golf team. I've coached just about every youth sport you could coach because of my daughters and my son. So a lot of coaching. I'm involved in the high school sports hall of fame right now, and obviously the McAfee Fund.
So now this McAfee Fund, as I understand this, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're a member of the We Are All Mustangs Here committee. Is that what it's called?
Correct. Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
people refer to it as the McAfee Fund, but it's the We're All Mustangs Here Fund. Correct.
Okay. Now, can you tell our listeners more about that group and its role in approving the spending of the monies donated by McAfee?
Sure. So I believe it was the fall of 2021. It started off as a text from Pat, and then it turned into a Zoom call with myself, Eddie Edwards, Phil Maines. Eddie is a 1991 Plum graduate. He was Pat's first sports agent out of WVU in the NFL. Phil, most people in Plum know Phil. Phil was one of Pat's best childhood friends. Phil is the CFO of McAfee Inc. Myself and Pat, of course. So it started just kind of brainstorming about what we can do to help Plum athletics, to get them at the same level of a lot of the school districts that have a lot more money, not just district money, but personal money from the parents. So
Yeah.
we brainstormed about ways that we could help. And to be honest with you, when it first started, I thought he was talking about, maybe a few $100,000. And on the Zoom call, when he said, I think we're going to start with about 2 million to start, my eyes got this big. I couldn't believe how generous he was.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. And I know, so he's donated that $2 million, but he's donated a few other things as well, hasn't he? I mean, things that went towards, I think there was another $200,000 or $300,000 last year that was donated towards the community, and then I know he helped Nesbitt's out. So he's done a lot for the Plum community over the last few years.
Yeah, he has done a ton. A lot of people that don't know about the fund asked if he donated money to the youth programs, and he did donate. I think it's somewhere around $800,000 to the youth programs, Plum Area Youth Soccer, the baseball program, lacrosse,
Wow,
wrestling, basketball. So he gave a lump sum of money to all those organizations, and a lot of people, they weren't sure early on if those youth organizations could apply for funds the way that junior high and high school sports do. But the original donation was what it is. But at the high school and junior high level, that's where your coaches and your booster groups can continue to apply for funds from that $2 million pot.
Okay, so that's still an existing fund that is out there that people are tapping into still.
Yes, I think we're up to about 1.2 million spent so far out of that original 2 million.
Now I've seen some posts on some of the Plum community pages. There's a little bit of confusion on how it can be spent or how it can't be spent. Can you give us some examples of how it's being spent, and are these funds strictly for the athletic programs, or is there other ways it's being used?
Yeah, it is strictly for the athletic programs. We've had some requests from some of the programs that kind of are around athletics. Like I believe part of the band requested some funds, and unfortunately we had to deny that because it's not athletics. Basically, it's just strictly for the athletic teams. I think it seems to be going well. I don't know. What do you guys think? You have young kids in the district that play different sports. How do you feel it's going?
Yeah, I can speak from the Baseball and Softball Association standpoint. I'm on the board there.
Yeah.
And this past year, this past off season, especially, we've put a lot of those funds towards off season workouts for our kids, strength and agility training. We sat on the money for a couple months trying to figure out what can we do for these kids that's going to be long lasting. Like we could buy them all a hat, right, that says Plum baseball and softball,
Right.
But is that going to help them? So we put a lot of money into development. We partnered with Shane down at Silent Victory, and he did a awesome job with putting these kids through off season workouts, training, strength and agility. We worked through the school district to have off season workouts in the batting cages, things like that. Trying to actually give these kids like an AAU experience for no money out of pocket. So it was great there. On the PBBO side, I'm on that board as well for basketball, and we're talking now about how we can do the same thing. We've put money into the uniforms. They got some really nice youth uniforms, and we walk into a gym, we're the best dressed team there. It looks awesome.
Great.
But now we're talking about other ways we can start to spend that money as well. So it's been fantastic. I think soccer, they bought, I want to say one of those, like, what do they call it? The automatic liners, like the GPS liners. Yeah. The fields, we have things like the Kickoff Classic here in Plum, just our weekly games. The fields look amazing. Like these kids get to have pride in where they're playing. And I was on the board when Pat came to talk about the $2 million donation, and you could hear in his voice how excited he was to do this. I think he referred to it actually as like cartoon money. He said, I could never spend this money in my lifetime. And just hearing him talk about growing up in Plum and knowing that we didn't have the funds and resources available, some of the bigger districts, and now, one check from him can do this. You just could hear his excitement when he gave this money to us.
Yeah, he's genuinely excited to be able to do this. I messaged his mom and dad on Facebook just about a month ago and just told them how incredibly proud I am of the son that they raised, that they should take ownership of that, because that sort of generosity is not something that a lot of people are born with. And there's a lot of money, or there's a lot of people that have Pat's kind of money at the professional athlete level. And while I think everybody would like to say that they would do what Pat is doing, most don't, and Pat is. So, but I'm glad to hear, what you said about how those organizations are using their funds, because that was our original brainstorm. Like, we wanted this to be, multifaceted. We wanted teams to be able to buy equipment that would help performance, but at the same time, we wanted them to, be outfitted in gear that they were proud to represent Plum in. So, that's what I see when I go around Plum. I go up to the baseball games. I see the lacrosse teams playing, and I see everybody, looking proud to be wearing Plum gear.
What do you think are some of the, I don't know, how the coolest things you've seen come across that you guys have got to approve that maybe are way outside the district's budget that he was able to provide and you're seeing a difference with?
Well, I think, the baseball team ordered some technology. The golf team ordered some technology. The baseball team ordered, it's called a Rapsodo machine. It measures, similar to what the golf machine does. It measures like launch angle of the swing speed. It'll measure the revolutions on a baseball, the velocity, and things like that. So that's probably technology that most other districts don't have. The ball launch monitor that the golf team has, shows the kid, it shows the golfers the spin rate coming off the club, the kick point, things like that. So I think that's a huge advantage for Plum. Thanks to Pat for providing that opportunity.
And Keith, I don't want to assume, you kind of answered my last question for you, so I have another one for you. I don't want to assume that people know what the process is for applying. So can you kind of tell us what is the process for applying and getting in front of the committee to see if they can get funds?
A very simple process. I actually sent out an email to all of the district booster groups and the head coaches, which was just updated. That's why Pat came into town. I don't know, what was that, about 6 weeks ago, because we've had a lot of turnover with the coaches. Obviously, kids graduate, they move through the program. So we have new booster parents involved. And we just wanted to update them on the process. So the process is basically you just send an email to the We're All Mustangs Here email address, and you tell us what items you would like. You tell us how you feel that it would improve your program. And you give us at least a handful of bids. So then myself, Phil, Eddie, and Pat discuss kind of the pros and the cons of the request. And then if it gets 3 votes, it passes. If it doesn't, then it doesn't.
Okay. And what is the email address, Keith? Do you have?
We are all Mustangs here at gmail.com.
All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mike, do you have any other questions for Keith?
Yeah. Whenever these groups put in a request, is there like lengthy discussion? Is there ever like, I don't want to say controversy, but is there any disagreements between the board members, or is it if it's a slam dunk, it's a slam dunk, or if it's a no, it's a no?
Some of them are slam dunks. Some of them are obvious yeses. Some of them generate some discussion. And I will say, I'm not going to get into which ones, but we have had some, I don't want to say heated debates, but we've had some pretty healthy debates over some of the requests, because one or two of us may feel very strongly about it and the other one or two may not. So then it's about swaying that other one. And Pat said it in the meeting, he might be the world's most busy person. I don't know if you're, familiar with his schedule, but like everything that he does, but he does read every email. He does not respond to everything, but he does read everything. And he kind of lets myself and Phil and Eddie take the lead. If there's something that we disagree on, he will give his input. But for the most part, we've pretty much agreed on everything.
It's awesome. I love what he's doing. I love that you're a part of it, Keith, and I appreciate you coming on here to talk about it and share it, because the community knows about it, right? But they don't know all the details, how it's helping our kids, how to apply for it. And I think this really cleared a lot up for them. So thank you for that.
Good. I'm glad it does.
Yeah, you sticking around for a little bit?
Yeah. I'll stick around.
We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Keith Nonnenberg, everyone. Thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you.
When does Pat get a statue here in Plum? Hopefully bigger than AI's, right?
I believe Pat is the same person that he was when he was in high school.
Yeah.
He was kind of loud and boisterous, and you either love Pat or you hated him from the time he was a 15-year-old. And I love the kid from the beginning. So I guess that's kind of why he's stayed in touch with me and befriended me, because I guess I kind of got him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. There should be a statue of him, but he will never allow that.
Pat, if you're listening, the community feels the same way about myself and Mike. They either love us or they hate us. So you fit right in on our podcast.
One thing I do want to say about Pat, I don't think a lot of people know this, is football was probably his third best sport in high school, right? It was not his.
Wow.
I mean, it's the one he made money on, but he might be the best volleyball player to ever come out of Plum.
He might be. I'll give you a real quick what happened with Pat. So Pat played his freshman year, wasn't a very solid team. He got some varsity time, came back his sophomore year. I figured this kid's going to be a starter. He practices the first 2 weeks. We have our first match. We get back from the match. Pat says, "Coach, I got some bad news." I said, "What's that, Pat?" He said, "I have to quit." I'm like, what do you mean you have to quit? You're a stud. He said, I've got cup soccer and my parents have a lot of money invested in it and I'm missing it too much. I just can't play. So fast forward. So I'm devastated. Didn't play his junior year. Senior year, that's when he accepted the full ride to WVU in football. The good news is, for me at least, that he didn't have to play soccer anymore. So he came back and he said, "Coach, I'm going to play volleyball." And I thought to myself, he hasn't played since the one match his sophomore year. He might be okay. He ended up being first team All-State. He was an absolute dominant player. And here's another thing. I don't know of any other athlete ever to have 3 Division I scholarship offers in 3 different sports. Pat could have gone D1 in volleyball, soccer, and football.
Wow.
He was always, I think he was 5 or 6 years younger than me, but his brother and my friend's sister hung out, so we saw him a lot. And when he was in 5th grade and I was in 10th or 11th grade, he would play football with us. And 5 years younger as a 5th grader, and he would dominate that at that age. It was unbelievable. So
Yeah, he was
but,
impressive.
Yeah, if you're listening, Pat, we'd love to have you on. I know you're busy, but thank you again, Keith. And we're going to move on and keep Keith on here because we were going to have some fun with Keith. Mike, I think it's time for Would You Rather.
Would you rather? All right. So, Keith, if you haven't heard this segment before, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a Would You Rather. We're going to kind of go through and debate, and then we're going to let the people at Plum tell us how awful our answers are. All right. So, would you rather be stranded in the middle of the ocean on a rowboat or in the middle of the desert barefoot?
I'll start this off so Keith can get a feel for how bad my answers are. I thought about this way more than I should have this week, Mike, when you let me know about this topic. He's just getting it now, so it's probably better for him. But I thought to myself, if I'm in the middle of the ocean, is there at least a chance, some chance that a ship will pass by and see me there and rescue me, save me? I mean, who's going through the desert? So that my answer is I'd rather be in the ocean on a rowboat than barefoot and stranded in a desert. That's my initial answer. I can explain more, but really, I think I have a better chance of being found in the ocean. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I still feel I have a better chance.
Yeah, my answer is the same, but not for the same reason. I think when I go to the beach in the summer, the thought of walking across the hot sand just to get to my towel. My feet are so sensitive to heat. No brainer. I'm in the boat. I will figure out a way to fish and keep myself alive and everything else. I am not walking through the desert barefoot.
Hey, just be mindful though, Mike. The common mistake that somebody who's stranded in the ocean makes is that they drink the water, and the salt water is problematic. So try to avoid that and try to get your water elsewhere. Maybe the rain.
Keith, just so you know, Drew doubles as Bill Nye, the science guy.
Okay, that's good enough. I'm gonna. I guess I'll go next. So I would agree with both of you. I would probably choose the ocean with the rowboat. I guess I'm coming across this as a little bit darker because I'm thinking if you get to the end and you realize there's no way out and you want to call it quits, I think being in the ocean, there's a way to end it quicker than being in the middle of a desert.
Wow. Keith, with answers like that, you're going to be a recurring guest. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't want to go dark there, but
you might not have listened to the show. We'll go dark.
Okay.
Maybe Alan's going to be our voice of a reason here, and he's going to go completely opposite of us. What do you say, Alan? Clean sweep, or what are we doing?
I'm going to the desert.
And why?
I'm going because there's a chance to walk into an oasis, honestly. Like, if you think about it.
Okay.
In the ocean, there's nothing unless you're getting to an island. How you don't know where you're going. If I start walking in a direction, I'm either going to find an oasis or I'm going to die.
That's fair.
I'll have a nice tan when I get there.
I will say this about the
Tom
ocean.
Hanks ended up making it.
He did. He did. I got to reserve my energy, though. I'm not rowing for shit. I'm hoping for this, just the natural flow of the ocean to take me somewhere. And I'm just hoping that somebody sees me somehow, some way. And I know it's doubtful. I wouldn't survive. I don't even like the beach. I don't even like a day where it's above 85 degrees in Pittsburgh. I would never survive in a desert at all. I'd be ready to call it quits.
The one downfall in the middle of the ocean is I'm mostly Italian. The little bit of me that's Irish is my skin. I'm going to be fried by the time. If I'm found, I will be fried. But nope, keep the sand away from me. I'm out.
I loved your answer, Keith. Just be prepared, though. I generally get the public ire, and I find a way to make me wrong every week. So we'll see what happens. All right, that's Would You Rather. So that was pretty fun. That was pretty easy, right, Keith?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. All right, next one's gonna be real fun too.
All right, Drew, is it time to drop the grammar hammer on the people of Plum?
It is time to drop the grammar hammer. And I thought Keith was going to be on here, and you mentioned he might stick around a little bit. So I kind of went back and forth on this, and I wanted to have a little fun. So I'm going to spell 4 words, and the fifth one I'm going to give you a clue for it. I'm going to spell some words for you, and I want you to pronounce them the way you would. I don't want you to think too hard. I just want you to say it. We're gonna give Keith the first one, and then we'll go Keith, Mike, and Alan. on this first one. I want you to pronounce it the way you would, and then I'll tell you if you're right or wrong based on how I'd pronounce it. That's the answer key. I'm the answer key.
I'm hoping everybody has low expectations for me because I'm a phys ed teacher, so you can go with the stereotype.
That would make it fun. All right.
However, my mom was an English teacher, so I'll try.
All right, let's do it. All right, so I'm going to spell a word and I'll pronounce it. Often.
Often.
Mike.
Often.
Alan.
Often.
Ooh, it's often. The T. Somebody's dog knew the answer. The T is. That was classic. That's your dog, Alan? The dog knew you. All three were wrong. That was the buzzer.
It's my dog.
The T is actually silent. That's often.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lie. That's not
That's
real.
true. That's true, according to Drew. And you can Google it, but right now, you're all wrong.
Often.
The T is silent.
I put T's, even if there wasn't a T in there, I'd make a T sound.
Alan, I'm going to ask you before your next answer. Could you research this for us? Research it for us. All right.
What?
Yeah, it's often. The T is silent, guys.
Wow.
That was a clean sweep of being wrong.
I've been saying that wrong for 53 years.
Hey, there's always time to change, Keith.
Often, yeah.
This is an educational program. I've told people that all my life. Yeah. All right.
I've only been wrong for 43, not quite 53, but I've been wrong too. It's crazy.
Ellen will let us know. He's probably going to tell me I'm wrong.
What am I researching?
How to pronounce often.
Oh, often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or often, as you three said.
Yeah, I thought it was often. I thought it was right. I'm like, this is easy.
He's going to check out that next one. I'll give you the next word, guys. I'll start with Mike this time. Gala.
Gala.
Keith.
Gala.
Alan.
Gala.
Bam! It's gala. God.
I got real nervous to say gala.
Don't be nervous to be right. You should never be nervous to be right.
So
I thought it would sound
Gala. Yeah.
gala. Yeah, I thought it would sound gala.
Oh, that's right. It's the right way to say it. You guys have been wrong. All three.
I believe you.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love groupthink.
Here's what's funny. So this is not a normal word that you use every day, right?
No.
This is the second time today I've used this word.
Really? So you've used it wrong twice today.
Used it twice. And you know what's funny? I went to a gala about a month ago for work, and the lady who was the MC said gala, and Jess and I looked at each other and said, "What the hell is this woman saying?" Clearly, we were in the wrong.
This is such an educational program. I love it. All right, that's 2 for 2. You're all wrong. All right, this one's for Mike. This one's for Mike, so I'm gonna let Mike say it first. Italian.
Don't you dare say Italian. It's Italian.
Keith.
Italian.
Alan.
Now that's Italian.
All right, you're all right. Thank you.
All right.
I know so many people that say Italian, and it drives me nuts. It's not right.
As an Italian, people say Italian, and I say I am not from Italy. I'm from Italy. It's Italian.
It's as simple as that. Perfect. All right, that was a good one. All right, this one is this one fires me up if people get it wrong. I'm gonna go with Keith, special guest Keith.
All right.
Caramel. Caramel.
Caramel.
Mike.
Caramel.
Alan.
Caramel.
Alan and Mike are so wrong. Keith has earned. Keith, you are the new co-host starting next week.
Beat by a gym teacher.
Caramel drives me nuts. Do you guys not see the A in the word? The second A? What do you do with that A?
No, that just blends
like
in.
It's dialect. I feel like it's right.
It's
Is it dialect?
Caramel in that.
Yeah.
Caramel in that.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm not changing.
You're not going to change, I know, but I think I might have changed one word or 2 words for you guys tonight. All right, last one. I'm going to say ask you a question, and I want you to give me the answer. And we'll start with Alan this time. Alan, what comes if you're counting? What comes after 10th, 11th,
12th?
Say it again.
12th.
Keith.
12th.
Mike.
12th.
All right, Keith and Mike got it right. You guys got the F in there. That's great. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people say 12th. They don't put the F in there.
Yeah, I left the
Like
F
Alan,
out.
you left the
Yeah.
You left
I was
the
like,
F out.
I was like, how did I get it wrong? What did I say wrong? Yeah, I didn't put an F in there.
The F.
Get the F out of here.
You got the F out of there.
I don't think I've ever thought so hard about such.
No, you were. You were trying.
You were.
You were trying to keep your mantle.
And I think Mike got the cheat code from you, Keith. I don't think once he saw you really try for the F there, I thought he said that he's right. Oh shit, he's right.
Yeah, I saw the wheels turning.
I tried to repeat what he said. So,
well, that's Alan. Did you find anything yet, or am I right about those things? Or are you going to correct me later?
You're absolutely correct about all of this so far.
I love Alan. You're my favorite producer. I keep saying that. All right,
that other guy should get fired.
Guys, that was Grammar Hammer. Thank you for hearing me. It was an educational program for our audience. But up next is, I think, our audience's favorite segment, and that's blind ranking. Mike gives me 5 items individually, and I have to rank them 1 through 5 without knowing what's next. Keith, you're going to have fun with this one.
Oh, my. Okay.
all right. So I'll give you the category, and then I'm going to go one at a time, and you have to rank it, like you said, 1 to 5, but you don't know what's coming next. So, all right. This is a good one. I like this one. Today's blind rankings are sidekicks, famous sidekicks. We're going to start with a classic, Robin from Batman and Robin.
I'm not a big comic book guy. I'm not a big Batman and Robin guy. I'm not a big superhero guy. So I know Robin's classic. I'm going to stick Robin at 3 to be safe so I can go either way with what's next. I'll say 3 and I'm comfortable there.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to put it in the middle to give me a little leeway on either side. So I'm going to say 3.
How do you feel about Robin or Batman and Robin in general? You not that thing?
Yeah, of the superheroes, Batman was not one of my favorites.
Wait, can we pause here? Is Batman a superhero? Because I don't think he is. He doesn't have any superpowers.
He doesn't have superpowers, but he's still in the same. Like, wouldn't you put him in that category?
A hero, superhero.
He's a vigilante.
He's a vigilante.
Okay, all right. I
Right,
correct you on words. You correct me on nerd stuff.
I'm pretty passionate about this one.
So he's not a superhero? Batman is not a superhero.
He's a guy with a lot of money that has a really cool belt that does a lot of stuff, but he has no superpowers.
That's true. That is true. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
but neither does Tony Stark.
He has the heart thing. He's strong. He flies.
Yeah, but his suit flies.
He's a futurist. He's not a superhero.
I'll take that.
Okay.
Wow, we got a couple.
Sounds
of
like
dorks
Alan
on here.
knows a lot about.
Alan and Mike.
I'll agree with Alan.
Yeah, you have to on this. Alan, where are you putting Robin then?
4.
Oh,
Wow.
Not a
I
Robin.
More
like
than I thought.
I like Batman solo, so
okay.
4.
All right, number 2, or the second one, Samwise Gamgee.
Say that again.
Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings. Sam?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
I'll take the lead on this one. Let you guys think a little bit. That's a really good one. I'm gonna put him at number 1. He is a great sidekick in the books and in the movies.
I've never watched that movie about walking for 3 hours, and so I don't know who I've offended that's watching this. You're listening to this probably a lot, but I got to go 5 because I don't even have a clue of his capabilities. What he brings to the table. Is it he brings to the table? I got to go 5 because I just don't have any idea.
I'm going to go just based on Alan's recommendation. I'm going to go 2. I never saw the movies either, but he makes them sound fantastic. So I'm going to go with 2.
There's 9 hours of movie. It's fantastic movies.
There's no way I'm spending 9 hours watching those movies. There's no way.
They're so good.
When I first watched them, I watched all 3, 2 in the night, and then we woke up the next morning and watched the third one.
Wow.
All right.
I didn't even expect that. I didn't expect that.
All right, here's a good one. The third one is Mini-Me, Austin Powers.
All right. I mean, that's fun, right? I mean, that's Mini-Me. Who are you going to... There's got to be somebody better. For entertainment value alone, Mini Me is at 2 for me. I'll go right there. Austin Powers, Mini Me. That was me in high school watching that, loving that. There's got to be something. There's got to be a better sidekick coming up, but he was fun. So 2. What do you got, Keith?
Yeah, I would have probably gone with 2 with that, not knowing anything about Lord of the Rings. But Mini Me was awesome. But I don't want to put him at 1 because I think something good is coming, but I'm not sure. So I guess I've got to go with, what did I use? What did
2
I
and
use?
3.
1,
2
4,
and
and
3.
5
I'm going to
left.
go with 4 for Mini Me.
Wow. Alan?
5.
Not an Austin Powers fan.
Was never an Austin Powers fan. It missed me for some reason. I was reading Lord of the Rings, I guess.
Yeah, you were watching 10 hours of Lord of the Rings. Yeah. No time for Austin Powers.
I don't know. It was like too old for me when I was young. And then I didn't get into it as I got older.
Okay. You should watch it.
4th one on our list, Chewbacca.
That's
You got
number
it.
1 for me. I'm a huge
Yeah.
Star Wars fan. Number
There's
1.
no thought there. I like it.
I feel like this episode has just gone off the rails for me because this is not your TV sitcoms last week were right on my wheelhouse. These are just not there unless you come up with like Silent Bob next. I've got to put Chewbacca at 4 for me. I was never a Star Wars guy. I know that's sacrilege, but I just wasn't. I'm gonna get killed. I'm gonna get killed. This whole segment.
Lord of the Rings.
I thought I was doing so good until this segment, and now everybody's gonna kill me.
I'm going to put Chewbacca at number 3.
Okay. All I have left is 1. Oh shit.
I think you're gonna like your number 1.
Okay.
I don't think Keith's gonna like his, and I don't think Alan's gonna like his because Keith has 5 and Alan has 2. But in my opinion, the best sidekick on this list, Scottie Pippen.
Yes. Give me Scottie Pippen all. I didn't see that coming. You go for that's a hell of a list, Mike. You've got Lord of the Rings. You've got Star Wars, Batman and Robin, and Scottie Pippen. And I love it. He's my number 1 easily over all of those.
Don't hate me because I'm more cultured than you.
Yeah, that's a huge variety of sidekicks. But I'll be honestly though, I'm glad I only have 5 left because watching Pippen play, he was fantastic. I do not like the things that he said about Jordan and about the Bulls afterwards. So for that, he fits my last slot perfectly. I would put him at 5.
I agree 100% with that because I do Scottie Pippen, the player, as a sidekick. I thought he was fantastic. He'd be my number 1, but I lost so much respect for him with The Last Dance and everything he said. But Michael Jordan's son didn't sleep with his wife, so he might be a little bitter.
He did. I mean, that's that's where I'll spend 10 hours watching The Last Dance for the 3rd time before I watch Lord of the Rings. Yeah, absolute. Right. Exactly, Keith. What do you say, Alan? What do you have left?
My ranking is poetic. Okay. He was a great number 2 on the court. And in life, he's kind of a number 2 person. Kind of shitty.
I like that. I do. That's good. That worked out really well for you.
Drew, I have to ask you, because your son is about the same age as my son.
Yeah.
We constantly have arguments about LeBron versus Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have those arguments or conversations?
You know what's funny? He was always Steph Curry because that's what he watched. Like he's at 3-point like that. The game has changed, right? And that's what's sexy now, right? The 3-point shooting, and he loved him. And I always had he was like, oh, he's better than Jordan. I'm like, Xavier, let's slow this down a little bit, buddy. And then we would have the discussion about LeBron. But I made him watch The Last Dance with me, and it like clicked in his head, like, holy crap, Dad, he was really good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. So we have those same discussions, but he's definitely Team Jordan now. What about your son?
Yeah, you've made more progress than I have. I cannot. Mine is LeBron all the way, and the only compromise I can come to is, and I've tried to explain to John that LeBron can do things that Jordan couldn't, but Jordan could do things that LeBron couldn't.
Right.
So, it's hard to compare eras, but
it really is.
I think in The Last Dance, they talked about if they change the data to the number of shots that they take now, the number of 3-point shots, that Jordan would be averaging around 50 points a game.
Yeah, and I mean, they were scoring when I was watching them in the '90s. They were scoring. They were winning games, beating the Jazz like 83-77. I mean, so Jordan was scoring 40% of their points. I mean, in today's game, 40% of your point. You're right. That's 50. That's 50 points a game. It's a different game.
Nobody talks about Kobe though in this conversation. I think Kobe's better than LeBron. His work ethic, what he did on that court when he took control of the game. I think he was second to none in that aspect. But Jordan for me is top dog. Kobe's number 2. LeBron's 3.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with that. I mean,
it's hard to argue with any of those 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
And put Curry in there too.
Yeah. Where do you stand, Alan, on the Michael Jordan debate, though? The LeBron Jordan debate.
I think Michael Jordan it's just like
clean sweep.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. Just because.
Sounds good. That's it. Mike's got to give his rankings though.
All right. So my rankings, I do have Scottie Pippen as number 1. Scottie Pippen the player, not Scottie Pippen the human being. Chewbacca at number 2. For somebody who didn't talk ever or didn't have anything that was you could understand, he was he always had the Han Solo's back. He was awesome. Robin, great number 3. Samwise, he is low on my list only because he lost the trust of Frodo for a good portion of the movie, but he gained it back. He always had his best interest at heart. And then Mini-Me, he was funny, but he was useless as a sidekick. He did nothing. He brought nothing to the table.
Really?
So, yeah. I mean,
wow. I didn't anticipate Frodo being brought up at all tonight.
He didn't make you laugh, Mike? You didn't think it was funny?
He did, especially the silhouette scene. That was fantastic. But as a sidekick, he didn't really do much.
Yeah,
he was funny. So
you're right.
Usually, I am.
All right, everyone. I want to take a moment again to thank our sponsors: Tresco Concrete, Continental Comb, and the Jen Mascaro Real Estate Team. Continental Comb Barbershop, a traditional barbershop servicing the area since 1973. Up to date on all the new styles and cuts. Call 412-795-7555 and mention Sour Plums for $5 off any service.
Tresco Concrete, the best concrete products on the market. Ready-mix concrete delivered to your door, guaranteed to get hard or your money back. And as always, their concrete is all natural, no supplements, and always 100% Viagra-free.
The Jen Mascaro team proudly supports the Sour Plums podcast. When it comes to selling your home promptly and at peak value, look no further than the expertise of the Jen Mascaro team. With over a decade of industry experience, we guarantee to guide you seamlessly through the process. For personalized assistance, contact us at 412-607-6318 or email jen.mascaro@cbrealty.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to jump into our voicemails, and we're going to do it different this week. You're actually going to be able to hear them.
That's progress.
Yeah. So Keith, just so you know, what we do is we have people call in, leave us voicemails. I think we have 3 this week. We give a quick reaction to it.
Okay. I was going to say, I hope you know what they are before you put them on the air, right?
Yeah.
Mike does. I know. I never know. I never know what's going to happen.
Okay. This will be.
Here's the first one.
Hi, this is concerned citizen Rob Lakowski. Listen. Since you guys started this Funny Stuff podcast, no one is attending my Magic the Gathering tournaments. I have had infinity issues. I'm very concerned. We had one on Valentine's Day. It was just me and my wife, and she was sick. But listen, people voted for this. I just want to play Magic the Gathering. Thanks for playing.
Yeah. I don't know much about Magic the Gathering, but I think you need at least 4 people to play, right? And most gatherings I know about don't get more than 3, so I don't know.
Wow.
Have you ever heard the recordings? I think that was back in the 80s, might be before your time. They're called the Jerky Boys.
Yeah, the Jerky Boys.
Call people. That's what they sounded like. The Jerky Boys.
Yeah, I imagine whoever did that was pretty much a jerk.
So I mean, if we're taking people away from gatherings, I apologize. Not really, but
we've got Magic the Gathering, we've got Frodo, we've got wow.
All right, here's the next one.
People Plum, it's Major McBride. Sour Plums, long-time listener, big fan. instead of giving you guys some critical problems I've had with many things you've said, I'm here to announce the Sean Marcelino annual golf outing will be on September 7th at Rolling Fields. We are just starting to get things finalized, but we are going to be looking for hole sponsors, among other things. Please reach out to anybody on the foundation to get set up and get pricing on if you would like to be a hole sponsor or anything along those lines. We're looking for gift baskets, among other things. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
It's awesome, Mike. Yeah, I'm thank you, Jimmy, for reminding everyone of that. And I'm trying to get together a foursome as we speak. And Keith, if you don't know, a big reason that Mike's doing this podcast with me is he heard I had the idea to do a podcast, but he was on the brink of doing a podcast with Sean before he passed away. And so just kind of full circle, here we are kind of doing this together. And it's
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
All right, and here is our last one.
Hey, this is, it's not really important who it is. I'm a concerned citizen of the borough here. I drove by Jim McBride's house the other day, and I noticed Jim still has his Christmas lights up. We're coming up on May here. At what point does this become a nuisance to the borough? It's just getting out of control. Thanks. I'll hang up and listen.
Mike, I did. It's funny. Ironically, this call came in, and I drove past the other day, and for whatever reason, my son thinks Jimmy McBride's a superstar after listening to this podcast a few times, and his classmates are listening to it. Maybe they shouldn't be, but they are. Just so we know, we have a very strong middle school listenership. And
go to bed, kids.
And I drove by and I saw the lights hanging from the front, and I kind of commented on it. Had no idea this was going to be the call. I promise that wasn't even me making that call. And I think I think though I think by the time you get to June, I think you just leave them up, right? What do you guys think?
Yeah, he gives me a lot of shit because we just put wreaths in our windows for Christmas.
Simple.
But you can't forget to take your lights down if you don't put them up. May's pushing it. Come on, man. Be better.
What do you feel about that, Keith?
Yeah, I think if you can make it to June, you're wasting your time taking them down because you're closer to Christmas again than you were to last Christmas.
That's right. Leave them up, Jimmy. I mean, although Jimmy likes to pick on people for having high grass and not mowing their lawns, so I think it's fair game that he gets destroyed.
Well, I'm not
over
saying
this.
It's right that he still has it up. He should probably take them down. But if they're still up, just leave them up now.
I want to see Jimmy up on a ladder with his umbrella hat on, taking him down.
If he has the umbrella hat on and he falls, do you think it'll slow his fall?
Like a parachute.
Mike, is that all the voicemails we have for tonight?
It's all the voicemails for tonight.
All right, I don't know if you have any. I didn't have any in particular for Plum shout-outs this week, other than obviously another shout-out to Pat McAfee for all that he's doing for the youth sports in Plum. It's a big deal for everyone here. My son very much included in that with getting new uniforms. Those kids, when they know it's coming from Pat, a kid who went to school here and made it big, it means a lot to them, and it helps them. The kids that are dreaming of being in that position someday, it gives them something to motivate them. So I do want to give a shout out to Pat for doing all that for Plum.
Yeah, I just want to give a general shout out to spring sports are starting up. They've just started up in the past couple of weeks here. We have baseball, softball, boys volleyball, track and field. Keith, am I missing anything? Any other spring sports going on right now?
Lacrosse.
Oh, lacrosse. Lacrosse is out there now. So good luck to all of them. We had Drew on last episode, and hopefully we can bring a few WPO championships in the spring now.
Hey, and congratulations to Dave Pushka for being named the new varsity basketball coach in Plum. That was announced this week. I wanted to bring that up earlier, but I didn't get a chance to. So the Plum boy coming back to coach his old team. So good luck to Dave. And obviously it's important for Dave to have success, not only for himself, for his family, but selfishly, my son, Keith's son, they're in that age range now. So, we all wish him success over the next 3, 4, 10 years, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think he'll be great.
Awesome.
Yeah, if he lasts 10 years, he'll have my son too. So I'm pretty excited about it.
There you go.
I graduated with Dave, and couldn't been given to a better guy. He's an awesome guy. He was a great athlete in high school. Like I said, he was in my class. Very humble. Very excited. I've got to work with him on the PBBO board. He's a great guy. I'm just really excited for him.
Yeah, it's awesome. Keith, I wanted to give you another thank you for joining us and sticking around for all of our nonsense. It was a fun show.
Hey, I had a lot of fun. I appreciate you asking me to come on. And, honestly, thanks to Pat for creating all this opportunities for all the kids in Plum. Like, we've all said it several times, but he truly is a special person to do what he's doing, because most people don't, and he is.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job for the community. And I want a special shout out to Alan for being the world's best producer. Thank you, Alan, for being here with us. Yeah, thank you. If anybody, just so in case you don't know, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say, I just want to wish Keith good luck. He has the rest of this year and one more year of being Penny, my middle daughter, her gym teacher, and he'll be the first to tell you she is a feisty one.
She's a feisty one. Hey, as long as no more teeth get knocked out of her head, we'll be okay.
All right. Well,
I want to say thank you to Keith also for taking the time to come do this with us and shed light on, what a great fun.
2 years ago, like right now, actually, I get a call from the nurse. Hey, we need you to come up and get Penny. I think she went to go to the emergency room. What? I was like, what's going on? And I was told she's a scratch on her face. I was like, she needs to go to the ER? So I was like, all right, I'll come up there. I came up, meet the principal at the door. We start walking to the nurse's office. First adult I see is Keith in the hall, and his face is just like, holy shit. And I walk into the nurse's office, and I see Penny just covered in blood. And I was like, wow. Oh my God, what happened? She fell in the playground and knocked her 2 front teeth out. And I think you were on the playground with her, right?
No, I had a gym class out there, and I saw everybody congregating. I went over, and what Mike is describing is absolutely correct. It looked like somebody slaughtered a pig. I mean, she was covered in blood. Like, wow. I was terrified when I first looked. And then I saw one of the teachers reach down in the mulch, and they said, well, here's one. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a tooth. And then I realized they were both knocked out.
Oh,
they were permanent teeth too.
Permanent teeth. They came out like chiclets, like solid, didn't even break, just came out full.
Yeah. And I said to her, I said, Penny, how'd you even know you lost your teeth? She goes, well, at one point they were in my hand, so I knew. And then we straight to Children's Hospital. They did surgery on her, and she's a badass, man. She no anesthesia. She's like, I don't want anesthesia. Just do it.
She is tough.
And for 40, I think we were around 40. The surgeon lost count at 47 stitches, so it was somewhere over 50. So
wow.
That's
I do remember you seeing that post. That's a great story. Now, well, thank you to everyone on the panel tonight, and thank you for listening to Sour Plums. Like this episode and subscribe to our channel on SoundCloud, Spotify, or YouTube, and share if you care. I'm Drew Bartow.
I'm Mike Devine,
and we're out.